So it's that time of the month when we look back and see what were the most expensive books sold on hip comics and whether the buyer got a good deal or not. A boom or a bust. Stay tuned for the video.
Anachronic.
Hi, comic book fans. I'm Joe, and welcome to Anachronic Comics. So, in this series that I started a few months ago, we're going to take a look at January of 2025 and see which were the most expensive books sold on the Hip Comics sales site. Now, when we look at each of these five books, we'll make a determination based on Go Collect as to whether or not the buyer got a good deal, a boom, or got a bad deal, a bust. So, let's get started. So number 5 on the list is Batman number 66 from 1951, a CGC 5.5. It has cracks at the bottom of the slab, so it's broken. All right. So if we take a look over here, we see that it was originally listed for $9.95, but it was eventually sold for $850. So it was either some kind of a buy it now or a negotiation that was had, or the seller decided, maybe because of the broken slab, to reduce the price. But in any event, the original list price was $9.95. It was eventually sold for $850. Now, um, sounds like a decent price to me. You're gonna have to get it reholdered, so that's a little bit of an expense there. So let's take a look and let's see what Go Collect says the value should be. All right, if we look at Go Collect, again, this was a from 1951, 130 floats go down to 5.5 right here. All right, if we take a look at it, we can see that we have for 5.5, the fair market value was $825 with a slightly less 1 year average. So I think we can go with the $825 as being a good amount that's there. So here we have a sale of $850 for a fair market value of $825. So it's a bit of a bust, especially because we're going to have to get this reholdered because the slab is broken. Okay, so that was Batman number 66, number 5 on the list that sold for $850. Okay, now number 4 on the list is um, Batman number 26. Here we see it's from 1944. It's an oldie, but it's a 7.0, which is a fantastic grade for a comic that's over 80 years old. So here we see that it was originally listed for $1,495 and eventually sold for $1,250. Okay. Again, Batman number 26 from 1944, a CGC 7.0. All right. So let's take a look and see what Batman number 26 goes for from Go Collect. All right. And there it is. I love this cover. It's a great cover. All right. Jerry Robinson involved with this. I mean, it's oldies but goodies. All right. So we've got Batman number 26 is 7.0. Let's go down to 7.0. 16 in the census, 12 sales. Fair market value, $1,100. All right. With basically almost the same price in the 1 year average. So we can go with the $1,100. Here, the buyer, rather the seller, sold it for $1,250. So the buyer seems to have overpaid a bit for this, at least based on the fair market value. Again, not taking into account, gee, I want this book. I'm willing to spend a little bit more money, pay a little bit of a premium to get it. We're looking strictly at what the fair market value is or the 1 year average, whatever looks most appropriate under the circumstances. So here, with our rules, the purchase of Batman number 26, a 7.0, was a bit of a bust by about $150. Okay. All right. Let's take a look and see what was number 3 on the list. Okay. Number 3 on the list was Amazing Spider Man, Number 51. This is from 1967. It's one of the comics my mom let me keep, but I know that mine is not a 9.4. I know it's a lot less than a 9.4. So here, this was there were bids on this. So this was put on auction. There were 40 bids, all right? And the finally sold for $2,036. All right. So let's go and see what Go Collect says about Amazing Spider-Man number 51 at a 9.4. There. And there it is. Key issue, second appearance of the Kingman. Second appearance of the Kingpin, and the first appearance of Joe Robbie Robertson. Okay. A great John Romita cover. And let's take a look at the 9.4. Boy, that's a great 9.4, 61 in the sentence, 31 sales. Fair market value, $2,600. And the 1 year average, $2,820. So we're going to use this one, all right, because it shows the upward swing of the book. So $2,820 for a 9.4. And our buyer here only spent $2,036. I think that's a big boom right there for the buyer. Fantastic play for him. All right. So that was number 3 on our list of the top 5 most expensive books sold on the Hip Comics website. Okay, let's take a look at the next one now. Next one, this is the second most expensive, would be, bring it up, another Amazing Spider-Man book, Amazing Spider-Man number 2 from 1963. Unfortunately, I don't have that book. All right. A CGC graded 5.0. Very nice. All right. Here, again, it was an auction, 37 bids, and it finally sold for $2,600. All right. So let's take a look and see what let's see what CGC says about this. All right. Another key issue, first appearance of the Vulture. All right. This is Steve Ditko. All right. And here we'll go down to a 5.0. And we see that a 5.0, 192 in the census, 102 sales, fair market value, $2,500. But the 1 year average, $2,984. And the 90-day average, $3,403. All right. So, and the 30-day average is 3,106. So I think the closest is probably going to be this 3,106. So we'll use this as our number. All right, 3,106. And here we had a sale for $2,600. So this was clearly a boom for the buyer. Okay, so finally, let's take a look and see what was the number 1 most expensive comic book sold on Hip Comics in January of 2025. And it is, yes, Tales of Suspense number 39 in a CGC 4.5, The First Iron Man. Fantastic book. Oh, I wish I had that book. Well, it sold, not at auction, just a sale of $10,000 for 4.5. Oh, mama, if I only knew now if I only knew then what I know now. Okay, let's find out what Go Collect says about the cost of this thing. Let's bring it up. Okay. All right, here it is. Key issue, first appearance of Iron Man, of course. Great Jack Kirby cover. All right. So let's go down to a 4.5, and let's see what we got. 186 on the census, 69 sales. Fair market value, $10,000. Right on the nose. 1 year average, a little bit lower, 9,248, but we'll go with the FMV since it's a 1 year average. All right. And so looks like he hit it right on the nose. This 1963 book in a 4.5 is $10,000. And that's what he paid. He must have looked it up first. Okay. It is trending a little lower, but not bad. All right. All right. Let's have a review of what we've seen today. So again, this was kind of a mixture. You always have that. You have some booms and some busts. But again, if it's a comic you really want, I know like some that I have, I'll look at it and I'll say, you know what? Hard to find one in this grade or hard to find one, period. So I'm going to hold my nose and spend the extra money. So there's no bad sale, no bad buy here. Right. All we're doing is we're looking at the statistics and coming up with whether or not, at least based on the statistics, the buy was a boom or a bust. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, I'll get an email from Hip Comics for next month. But I will, as soon as I get them from him, when I get them from Hip Comics, we'll do one of these shows, which I think is pretty interesting. So let me know in the comments whether you believe that some of the booms or busts were good buys, bad buys, what have you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.